I'm here with Don Ernst, a farmer's insurance agent in Leawood, Kansas. Hi, Don.
Hello, Michelle.
I have some questions for you today about life insurance.
Okay.
Who needs life insurance and why?
Well, most everybody needs life insurance at some point in time during their life. Even young people coming right out of college might not think they need it, but that would actually be the best time to buy it because they're young, they're still insurable, and so it's not. They're going to be able to get it at a very low cost. They'll be able to keep forever and ever at that cost. But trying to convince somebody at that point in their life that they need it's a little difficult. So generally, when people start into the process of buying life insurance is young families that are married, maybe have a couple of kids.
And so they're looking to replace the income of the parents to make sure that the family is intact and can pay its bills and things.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I guess nowadays there's women who make the more money sometimes than the men, right?
I have had several occasions where I have more coverage on the wife than on the husband. Yeah.
And is there a difference in figuring out how much life insurance to have when it's a man versus a woman in general?
Well, I really don't get into whether it's the man or the woman. It's the income that we're trying to replace, and so that's where occasionally the higher will be on one or the other. We don't know which until we get into it. But I've been through financial needs analysis, life underwriting training council. They have these wild and crazy formulas for coming up with how much coverage do you really need, and it gets pretty involved as far as income replacement, college funding, retirement funding, and again, it's really involved, and you end up with this big number. And 10 minutes after I go out the door, nobody really remembered how we arrived at that number. And the fact is that in the event of somebody's death, they really don't care how I came up with that number. Okay. Now all they know is they're getting a lump sum amount of money that they're going to have to turn around and invest. And so what I try to do now is I sit with people, find out what their income is, and there's a little bit of tweaking to it, but generally it's how much money are they going to need to invest to replace that income.
Okay, so you mentioned several different things. So are those things that people should be prepared to talk about with their agent if they're planning on their children going to college, and not just the loss of their income, but what they were going to do with that income as they earned it through their life?
Right, yeah, and so that generally is just an interview that we sit and we talk with the folks and try to figure out what is their income, what's their occupation, what is their health situation, are they insurable, or is it going to be rated, do they smoke or not, all of those things kind of affect the rate and maybe how much insurance they'll be able to afford to buy.
Okay. Does all life insurance require a physical be taken?
Generally, yeah, on an adult policy, we use a paramed company that the nurse will come right to the house, or you can go to their location. And generally speaking, it's a pretty quick exam. It's a height, weight, blood pressure, urine sample, and a blood sample. But it usually goes fairly quickly. Now, on some of the larger cases, they may require an EKG or an actual physician.
Larger case, larger person, or larger number?
Larger amount of coverage.
Okay. All right. Now I'm familiar with term coverage and whole life. Are those the only kind of life insurance that there are?
Well, that's kind of the black and white of the situation.
Okay.
Term is like renting a car. As long as you make the payments, you've got the coverage. Whole life or permanent insurance is like buying the vehicle, so that at some point in time, if you decide you don't want it anymore, you can sell it or cash in the policy, and so you've got some cash value there. There are a lot, like I said, that's the black and white of it. There's a lot of gray areas in between. One of the gray areas now, the most popular policies now are universal life insurance policies.
And what is covered with that, or how is that different?
Well, the universal policy, again, you establish how much death benefit that you need, but then it's going to build cash value. And that cash value will grow on a tax-deferred basis. And generally, it's going to have a guaranteed minimum amount of interest that money will earn in the accumulation account. But it's usually a flexible amount too, so that if interest rates go up, it will pay more
Okay.
interest. And so you really don't know what cash value you're going to end up at any point in time, because it depends on the interest that you earned. Also, the flexibility of the policy. You could pay whatever premium payment you want as long as it's above a specific minimum premium. So the more you pay in, the faster your cash value will grow.
Okay. And then are any of these policies convertible one to the other? If I, can you convert a term to a whole life?
Well, yeah, that's one of the benefits of young families that maybe need a lot of coverage and don't have a lot of disposable income for buying insurance, and so they can buy a lot of coverage at a very low rate when they buy term insurance. And the least expensive is the shorter the term, whether it's 10-year, 20-year, or 30-year term. And so if you only purchased a 10-year term policy and 5 years into it, your health goes south on you, and then you're never going to be able to buy insurance again, and you know that policy is going to go away in the next 5 years, then you have a problem. But under the term contract, you can generally convert it to a permanent policy without evidence of insurability. So even if your health has gone south, you can still convert it to a permanent policy that then you can keep forever.
Is that something that needs to be addressed when the original policy is purchased, or do all term policies have that function?
I'm only familiar with farmers, and our term policies are all convertible to a permanent policy.
Okay, great. Do you have any other tips for people? Are there certain kind of behavioral or lifestyle choices that people make that can affect their insurability for life insurance?
Yes. If you have a private pilot license, there may be an aviation exclusion to the policy. They look at scuba diving, auto racing, mountain climbing, things along those lines could affect the rate of your policy. Are you a wild hare? Is what they. Are you taking your life into your own hands on a regular basis?
Like if you were visiting with tigers or something, could that affect it?
Laying on a tiger for a picture. Yeah.
How about height, weight, smoking?
Those all affect it. We have different bands of what they charge based on your height and weight, and then you can get into what is your health condition. Also, do you have high blood pressure? Diabetes, cholesterol issues, those are all part of the underwriting process, and we'll determine what the premium is going to be.
And if coverage is bound and somebody has some of these conditions which made their premium go up, then if they worked on some of those factors and those conditions went away, could they take advantage of a savings then?
Generally, let's take cholesterol or somebody's height and weight. If they can go a 2-year period where they've corrected all that and have doctor evidence of that, then they can reapply and get a reduced rate.
Great. Well, this is really helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet.